Hey, everybody. Thanks for tuning in. This is Will.
And this is Kevin. And this is the Will and Kevin Show. We are two guys with 2 cents, and we are happy to be with you tonight. So stay tuned, sit back, and relax. Will, what are we talking about tonight?
I think we're going to jump into the topic of how about lenses and cameras? That's the big deal.
Lenses and cameras? We can do that. Can we tell how we got here, though? Can we tell our story, Will?
Yeah, let's back up a little bit. And, well, that's how it started.
Yeah, that's right.
Really, because we start talking about, when I met you on the job, I started talking about film festivals. We got together.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned about the ABFF.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, man, that sounds like it's real exciting. So you was like, that's the festival to go to. Like, if you want to go to a festival, that's the one to go to.
Now, you know what? I'm going to take you back even further. Me and Will, we met at a job, right? I don't know, Will would come on my floor, we would run into each other, and somehow we started talking about cameras. I think what it was Will came to me and he was telling me he was interested in buying. What was it? What was the first one?
Was it a Pentax?
No, I didn't get the Pentax yet.
HV30?
HV20.
HV30, that was it.
HV20.
Canon.
Yeah, the Canon HV20. And Will had me so gung-ho on it. It wasn't even on my radar at the time. While I had some cameras, I hadn't even thought about jumping into the world of, at that time, camcorders. And we're talking 2005-ish, 2006. So it's been like 15 years we've been on this journey together. And I never forget, Will got this HV20. And I was like, oh man, I gotta go get me an HV20. And we got this HV20. And I think what took it to the next level on the camera, and I'm gonna hand it over to Will to talk about this, is, okay, so we had these cameras. Will always carry this camera around. I remember the bag, I believe he probably still has that bag. But I remember Will had the camera and he came to me and said, man, I wanna get, and by this time I think he had upgraded to the HV30. But he said to me, man, I wanna get this thing that creates depth of field. And I'm gonna let him take it over, because what was the story? Tell him about that story about.
Oh yeah, the company that had that adapter.
Jag.
Well, it was a couple companies that had adapters. And once I found the one company to use the adapter, I can't think of the company's name now. It escapes me right now, but I got the adapter, and that's what started me on that, because I wanted to look like film. Because it's one thing to do video, but the depth of field gets that separation and that blurry background. So that's where we was trying to go for at that time, to kind of separate. Yeah, so once we found I sent the way for it online. I can't even remember the company that had that.
It was like Jag 35 or something.
Was it Jag? Like yeah, I think it was Jag. Yeah, Jag 35, man. That was the joint, man.
Yo, no, and you're right. So when you got that, I was like, man. And that's when, right around that time, the whole DSLR craze hit. And like, to tell everybody, Will turned me on to the whole process of depth of field and everything. So when you start looking up depth of field back in 2007, 2008, you start seeing the whole DSLR video craze going on. And Will will tell you, he talked about Pentax. That's when I said, man, I'm gonna go out and get something, because a lot of Americans don't remember, but Pentax back in the day was one of the big brands of camera. So Pentax at that time, I think it was a dying breed in the US, but they had a camera that actually shot 24 frames per second, and it was the DSLR. So it had a little bit of depth of field. It was what is it? APS-C or whatever. What is it? Is that right?
Yes.
Am I saying it right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll correct myself. I'll put it down bottom, y'all. Y'all will see it. But I got it. And then I had the Pentax. I didn't even have it long. But I think right after that, Will jumped from the HV30 to I want to say a T2i. I think you got your T2i.
Yeah, the T2i. I mean, it was a good little bit before I got there.
Yeah?
Yeah,
I
it was.
felt like you jumped to that T2i while I still had the Pentex.
Yeah, and I was gonna get the Pentex, and
Yeah.
and you was on a cruise. You was leaving a cruise ship, Florida. You was like, "Hold up, we'll get that T2."
Yeah.
Like,
So you got that T2i. I was like, man, that's crazy. And as y'all will learn through this series, Will tell you, when we talk about something, I'm upgrading that same day, if not the day. Like Will he's the researcher, thinker, he's the motivator. He'll get you pumped to buy something, right? In this video, we are not selling anything. If you like what we got, get it. But Will pumped me up on that T2i, and I ended up not getting a T2i. I ended up getting the 60D. I remember I ended up getting that 60D. Yep. And Canon, still on Canon. Because we were Canon guys for a solid 5 to 6 years. Strictly looking at Canon products. We didn't even look at any of the other makers for a good while. So what happened after that? I feel like you made a move. Like you went away from the T2i. You grabbed something else.
Well, I started getting real big into the lenses. Like, the lenses start kind of coming on more and more.
Yeah.
Then you start looking at, quote unquote, all the big boys and the lenses. So we got into the lens game for a while. And then we were still kind of like, in that mid space. It was the boom of the DSLR. So we had all the YouTubers was out. I mean, everybody was out, and it was like, it was so much to learn around that time, but it was, it was real fun. So it get kind of blurry in there, but I think we start getting into lenses real heavy. I think the lenses is the next move.
Yeah, because you were one of the first to really venture into non-traditional lenses. Like I remember, and when we get into lens specific episodes, we'll kind of have a better sheet for everybody, right? But what was the Russian brand? You had got a 16 millimeter from, I can't remember.
Oh, that was man, I can't even remember the name of that lens. It wasn't a mirror or nothing like that. It was man, I'll have to get that name.
Yeah, we'll have it all for you. But yeah, Will jumped into a lot of lenses, and he actually even went into the FD lenses on the Canon, kind of went old school. Yep. So look at him reaching to his back, everybody. You see, he got all his good stuff, right?
Here's a FD mount right here. This is a 1.4.
Wow.
50 millimeter Canon. I mean, all glass. When I say it's all glass, it is all glass. It's all glass, man. And a 1.4, but you got to have the FD mount.
Yeah. And I remember you jumping in, and what you'll also learn as we go through the series, y'all, is I will buy a lot, but I will sell a lot. Like I'm a switch and trader type guy. Will tends to hold on to most of his stuff, not everything. Sometimes he gets rid of some stuff, but Will have stuff, and you'll hear me say, I remember when I had this. I remember when I had this. That means I sold it in order to buy something else. So that's kind of been my MO for the last 15 years. Will has been a little bit better at maintaining and keeping a lot of his good stuff. So, but yeah, so I ended up following suit. I bought FD mount lenses. I bought Nikon lenses.
Yep.
And I put the Nikon, the EF mount because we were still on Canon. And I remember venturing my first, besides the standard Nifty 50, the 1.8, and what else did I have? I had a lot of lenses, nothing professional, nothing great quality. I'm gonna say, sometimes kit lenses are good quality, but I don't think I really ventured into the pro lens kind of category, or at least a lens that you see people using who are actually getting paid for the job that they're doing. Yeah. It took me a lot of years to venture down that road. I mean, we tried a lot of other options, I feel like, from a lens perspective before we just said, you know what, let's go ahead and drop the $600 on the lens, or more, should I say, whatever you paid for a lens like that, right? So I think that took a while to get to. But yeah, I had the 60D, you had the T2i, and then I think you went and got that Lumix. You got the, what was it?
GH1, maybe?
GH1. Did you get the GH1 or GH2?
No, I got the GH1.
Okay.
Yeah, then later on I got a GH2.
Wow. Yeah.
back and forth with them. But you know what, Kevin? I think the journey too is with the lenses. The lenses make you. It pushes you
Yeah.
to get the best image you can at whatever budget that you're at.
Right.
So that's why if you and then I read a good article. I must send it to you. It was an article talking about FD lenses, and they were saying that during the mid '70s, the FD lenses were like some of that captured so many movies around that time because even though they had the anamorphic FDs, but they still was housed in an FD, the attachments.
Right.
I just seen some not long ago. It was the prices were high, but for what you was getting, it was something else. So I think that, and then venturing into the other Russian lenses as well. When we start finding about Zeiss, and then Zeiss had that plant in Germany, and it was amazing. Just reading about that information.
And that's a whole nother topic that we can speak on. This journey isn't all about equipment, right? This journey is about growing what we know, right? Our knowledge base. And then secondly, one of the big things that we'll probably talk about a lot more is growing our understanding of cinematography and what it is to make a movie. What's important, what's not important, right? Because I think personally, and I don't want to speak for you, Will, I went through, I'm gonna say a good 10 years believing that the most important piece of making a movie was your camera. And then somewhere during that time, I said, oh, you gotta get good lenses. And then it took after 10 years realizing that no matter how good your picture looks, if your sound is poop, you don't have a movie at all. And then going from, okay, good sound, good picture, so what if you don't have a story? And a story that fits kind of what the human experience wants to see. So, and I give Will a lot of credit. I mean, Will has been deep for many more years than I've actually known him, right? So he does a lot of research and reading. So I give him a lot of credit. Not that I don't, but I'm a little more.
You can't say that you don't. I mean, we both kind of play off each other and just keep pushing each other. So like you were saying about story, and like I tell people, they said, well, if you're not shooting anything, you should at least be immersing yourself in the storytelling, what makes a good story. I mean, because if you're not shooting, and a lot of people we work with have low to little budget, so what are you going to do in that absence? Instead of in that absence waiting for someone to come along so you can do something. In my idea, I think you just keep gathering the information and keep getting the knowledge about what you're doing. And so I started dipping into story as well. And then when I got into the story world, that's a whole, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation, just story itself. What makes a good story?
Yeah, and that is. I mean, it's amazing how as you dive deeper, and we hope that's what our channel will bring to you. So hopefully if you've caught this video 40 to 50 videos later, and then you come back, you'll get an understanding of the reason we brought this channel to you. So tell me where you are now, Will, in your journey as far as a cinematographer. And if you didn't know, we are also music, not just music buffs, but we are not only audio engineers, but we're performers, producers. We are musicians in our own different ways, and that's what makes us a good, combination. But tell everybody where you are in the journey and what you want people to get out of our channel.
Wow. Okay. So just to double back on that, I think earlier, my first love, and it still is the music. We are musicians. So, and that's how I kind of got into film, because my idea was to do a soundtrack or do a score, or at least land a single on somebody's film, because like Steven Spielberg said, half your movie is sound. So
Yeah.
you got a soundtrack and score. That's what really attracts you to a film in a lot of ways, is hearing a particular score, or how did they do that, and the arrangement. So that was my whole motive for shooting a short, or trying to shoot a short, or participating in a feature, was so I could get something on a soundtrack, so it can get me up into ASCAP or BMI. And I did finally make it all the way.
I know that's right. I know
Make
that's
it all
right.
the way into ASCAP, but I contributed a song on a soundtrack, Sugar Boo
Oh
sound.
yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of got me in. But so music has always been along the journey as well. So, and they both go together, because it's both learning and encouraging and inspiring people to pursue their dreams,
Right.
as much as they can. So, but yeah, music is really hand in hand, because we can just talk about music like all day, from sampling, from
Absolutely.
rap
Absolutely.
days to concerts to musicianship and everything. So it's part and parcel of the same thing.
So where are you now? So
Right now, I'm kind of like at this point where I believe I can do a feature. I can shoot a feature.
wow.
I believe I can, because like you say, if you're not actively doing it, you should be sitting back, getting the information, how to craft a story, what makes a story important. And like you used to say, the story before the story, all of that stuff is very key to getting the audience engaged, and then
Right.
have them go on that journey with you. So
Right. Okay.
storytelling and using it through camera is where it's at.
No. And what do you want all of our viewers, the maybe one person when we do this video, we got one viewer, but in the future, right? We're talking down the road, all of the many thousands of people, what do you want them to get out of our channel?
To basically pursue your dreams and your goals. Get with other people that you can build with, because that's very important, because you can't do this by yourself.
You're right.
Build with people, build a network up, and everybody pushing each other as far as in the pursuit of that same goal. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's a feature to work on something, or to do a soundtrack, just to get immersed in that, and pushing the culture forward. So that's what I want people to do. Just keep pushing, just build with people, and bond, and just keep plowing ahead.
Oh, dope. I'm with you on that. And just to close out our, first video, Yay to Us. I think I'm with you. I mean, my background is pretty similar. I was in music for a lot of years, right? And I was recording pretty much just because I like to record. And I had never thought about really making a film. And my journey has taken me down a road where I'm just proud to say that I completed a full short, a 20+ minute short. I did bring it down for a film festival to about 13 minutes. But I got to complete my full first short and a few years ago. And now I'm looking at, I have a couple of scripts, or at least what I believe are, close to being scripts in place to do a feature. And I'm very similar to Will. That's kind of my next step too. I mean, I think we've both ventured down, and we'll talk about all the lenses and cameras and all of that good stuff. But I think I've made it to where I think I'm comfortable with the equipment that I have and my knowledge about making a film. So my next step is just doing it. And from this channel, I want people to love the journey, become immersed in the journey, but make the journey way shorter than mine. And even if it takes as long as ours did to get to the point where we're ready to do this feature film, at least early on, you know what it takes to get this far. And if you watch us, hopefully we allow you to skip over some of the mistakes that we made. And mistakes aren't a bad thing. Mistakes are a learning experience, an opportunity for you to grow. But they always say the greatest thing about making a mistake is being in the position to make sure somebody else doesn't. So that's a dope thing, and hopefully we can help you get you there. This is for newbies or people in the same boat as us who have been in the game for a while and just like, I don't know what move to make. So that being said, anything you want to add, Will, before we close this one out?
No, I think you kind of put the icing on the cake. You put the icing on the cake, and we just hope everybody just tune in with us, and you're going to enjoy the journey, and we all can be on this ride together.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, till the next time, I'm Kevin.
I'm Will.
And this is the Will and Kevin Show. We are just two guys with 2 cents. Until the next time, see you later.
Peace.